Years ago, I once worked for somebody who told me that you could never do yellow and red flowers together because it reminded them of ketchup and mustard or McDonald's. And I, of course, take that as a challenge because I like unusual flower combinations. And for this box, I have chosen primarily yellow and red flowers. These peonies, however, I just want to kind of explain my thought process. These peonies do have these beautiful yellow centers. These lilies have the yellow and red and peach, which we have in the roses. I was mostly inspired, though, by this amazing Lisa Corti fabric. This is a gorgeous heavy-duty canvas fabric that I bought online from Lisa Corti. And this I'm making tablecloths out of for my own summer party in a few weeks. I think this mustard with this turquoise with this red which is so unusual. I love unusual color combinations, and I think it's very summery and rich. And that's what inspired this selection of colors for this week's box. So, with that in mind, I'm actually going to pull out these goblets again and make an arrangement in there because that looks great on there. And that's good for a centerpiece, even if you did 3 of these down a long table or a cluster of them on a round table. You need to do a few things though. A vase like this or a goblet or a water glass, you want to tape it off. So I'm going to use Scotch tape. It's not floral tape, it's just basic Scotch tape. Because this is wide, if you had the more narrow tape, you could do a tic-tac-toe grid, but because this is wide, that's gonna take up too much space. So instead, I'm just gonna do an X. I'm gonna do an X of tape. Do one. You wanna make sure that the rim of your vase, whatever container you use, is perfectly dry so it sticks really good. But then because water gets under there and it tends to pop off, you wanna take a long piece of this and actually bevel your way around the entire outer perimeter and very snugly fasten that on and then rub it down. So that is not going anywhere. Okay, next item of business is to add our water. So I am a fan of just doing, tap water, lukewarm, not too hot, not too cold. A little bit of vodka helps to kill the bacteria as the stems disintegrate, which lead to flowers dying quicker. So just a splash of that in there, and then I'm going to fill this up with water, almost to the top. And then this arrangement is going to be pretty low because it's kind of all about these magnificently huge peonies, which if you look at the big blue roses here, I'm going to really play off that. And these flowers are very large. So I'm going to keep these also because this is a small container and it's footed. I don't have a lot of space to make a really tall arrangement. So I'm going to keep them short. There's enough peonies that we can make large arrangements or short arrangements. And I've taken all the stems off and all the leaves, and it's going to just nestle right in there on the edge. I'll take one more. I'll do the same thing. And this can even be a little bit shorter. And it's just like I have 2 different layers here, which is quite nice. Now, I'm going to add some of my pretty cabbage roses. Now these roses, you want to make sure that there's anything brown. This one looks quite good. This little funny leaf is doing nobody any favors, so I'm going to take that off. And same thing, I want to cut this quite low. It needs to go to the bottom of the container, but that's only a few inches, and I want that to really nestle right there so it's going to open up. So, err on cutting a little too long because you can go back, like that's a little too long. So I can go back now and just cut a little bit off at a time until I get it right. If you cut it too short, then it looks like the vase is kind of like sucking it under. Also, the tape is keeping these from falling out. So I'm going to do 2 more of these. That leaf is actually quite pretty. I love this playful little curvature to it. And I'm going to save that somehow to get that in there because I think if I do this right, it might fall over the edge nicely and just kind of mimic what we have going on here in the fabric with the leaf. Now this has a few brown petals, and this just happens with bruising. You know what, as it continues to open, it's going to develop out of that. So don't be too alarmed. Remove any that look bad. And in the coming days, as it starts to open, just kind of monitor it and pull any off that don't look so great. So I'm gonna now do the same thing. I'm gonna cut it a little bit longer than what I think I need. So that, see, that's gonna be nice in there, but I still want it a little bit tighter. And gently put it in there, and I can actually see it go down to the center there. Now that's nestled really nicely in there. Let me add one more rose. Now I have these two nice leaves and I would like to use them somehow, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get both, but what I'm gonna do is actually cut this rose quite tight and tuck it right in the center here, and it's a little bit lower. That's okay, it's kind of like an undulation and it will fill out. Now I have two nice leaves to work with. So I'm gonna cut the first one, and that's quite beautiful. And this side looks a little bit naked. So let me just gently really tuck that in there, and the weight of the rose is holding it in the water. And then I have one more with a longer stem. So that gives me a little bit more flexibility. So I kind of want to step back and think like, okay, that looks nice, kind of coming out a little bit further like that. So basically you're kind of deconstructing nature and then putting it all back together again. Okay, so these little yellow alliums I adore. Now I didn't have them in the cleaning video because we were gonna only add these to the deluxe boxes. But I'm just telling you right now, there's hardly anything to do because they have no leaves, so you just put them on water. They do have a little bit of a tissuey outer shell that you can just remove, and they smell like onions. It smells like summer, hot dogs and hamburgers and onions and relish and potato salad. And I think they're so kind of fun. So I want them to be a little bit taller. So I can gently, with their wiry stems, nestle those in there. And maybe do them at a couple of heights. Oh, see, that looks great. Let me get one more, a little taller. So I have a little bit of a kind of a little family of flowering onions here. And then I want to use some of my lilies. These I've been waiting for. And that is gorgeous. Now, these I left on this particular bunch, I left some of the leaves on. I don't know if I'm going to use them. I don't think they're that beautiful. But these top ones won't be in anybody's way. So I'm just going to let this be a little bit higher and do its thing. Maybe I'll get one more. I want to be very careful and not waste a single flower. So, I could probably have one more be a little bit higher. If I change my mind, I can always move this, take this out, remove it, and use it in something else. Okay, so now, great. Now let me fill in with a little freesia. I'm going to cut these tight, tuck it in there, and just know that in a few days, or even less, these are all going to really open up, and it's going to be a nice play of colors of the red and the peach and the yellow together. And, I'm also keeping in mind that this is going to go down a table with candles and other elements and platters of food. So it's just, it's a fun kind of buoyant, nonchalant way to play with flowers in an unexpected vessel and an unexpected color combination. I think the colors look fantastic against the fabric that I selected. And I like the fact that these lighter, more whimsical blooms are still allowed to do their thing while you have these just bodaciously gorgeous peonies, kind of anchoring down the whole display. And then of course it's in this really crazy but fun combination of red, yellow, and turquoise, so who knew?